Yo, YouTube, what's going on? You already know who it is, your boy Cray. And today's Rogue Company video is special to me. Okay, it is very, very special. Why? Because I am finally creating that Vi Pro Guide. Now, I wanted to really wait to create this Pro Guide. Why? Because as you guys know by now, I am a Vi main. I did not need to give out all my secrets, so I can just beat up on y'all in any game mode I played. Strikeout, demolition, whatever. But look, there comes a point in time where you gotta just say, look, the jig is up and you just gotta spill the beans. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. If you end up enjoying this pro guide, do me the biggest favor in the world, hit that like button, comment down below if you guys rock with Vi or not, hit that sub button because over 90% of y'all ain't subbed, man. Come on, hit that sub button, man. What's wrong with y'all? And I would appreciate it so much. Now let's go ahead and talk about Vi a little bit. Vi is the most versatile rogue agent in this entire game. No, I'm not saying that because I'm biased because I'm main out on Vi, right? I'm saying that because it's literally the truth. It is the absolute truth. Vi can play aggressive, Vi can gather intel, Vi can control an area by herself. Like, she legit can do it all, right? She's a jack of all trades, and in some cases she's a master of none, right? So when you queue into a game, you got to have an idea how you're going to rock out with Vi. Are you playing support? Are you playing aggressive? Are you playing the quarterback of the team? Like, typically if you're rocking Vi, you are more so the quarterback because you have to be the brains of the operation, and I'll explain why a little bit later in the video, but that's typically what you have to do. Typically you're not playing Vi and sitting back and chilling. If you are, your team is getting wiped. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Your team is getting wiped because if you picked Vi and you are not involved, then your team will of course be fighting a 3v4 fight. Not just that, but you're taking one of the most important players in the game out of the equation. Like, what's wrong with you? Come on. So again, if you're rocking out with Vi, have some confidence, be versatile, be the quarterback of your team. Now real quick, let's talk about Vi's abilities. Okay, Vi has an ability called Vile Poison, where she creates a cluster of poison pools that reduce the enemy's maximum health, and that is permanent for the remainder of that life. If it's strikeout, when they respawn, their health is back to 100, and if it's demolition, of course, you know, GG, see you next round. And her passive ability, again, ignore that, activate windows. I'm going to activate it one day. Ignore that. Her passive ability is leeching poison, so reducing the maximum health of enemies gradually increases your maximum health up to a cap of 25. So Vi can have a maximum health of 125 as if she has headstrong. And the dope thing is, if you lose your health, like let's say I got shot down to 30 health, if I go hide and wait for my health to regen, it will regen back up to 125. So that cap of 125 is permanent until Vi is eliminated from the round or that life is expended in strikeout. Very useful in that regard. Now, with all that being said, let's talk about Vi's gadgets and perks, okay? So, again, depends on what you're going to play. So, I'm actually going to talk from my own perspective, okay? First thing I always cop is an incendiary grenade. Okay, I always cop an incendiary grenade. Gosh, that's a little bit of a tongue twister. I always cop it. Why? Because you can gather intel from it, right? If you throw it at something, I don't know if this is a glitch or not, but the flames can actually phase through the wall and burn somebody if they're behind that wall, okay? You can make somebody rotate outside of cover, and if you got somebody weak, you throw it, the area of effect damage catches them lacking, puts at least 20 on them, get the knock or get the cleanup, get the thirst. I think you guys are understanding what I'm saying. This incendiary grenade is so useful and it is multi-purpose. So this is always the first thing I grab, no matter what, okay? So you always rock out with that. Very rarely do I use her tear gas grenade. Maybe I should start incorporating that a little bit more, but typically the incendiary gets the job done for me, okay? Now, when we're talking perk prioritization, again, this is where things get a little bit challenging because it depends on your role, or let's say we're talking from that versatile role. The first thing I always cop is Helping Hand.
It's good.
I always grab Helping Hand first and foremost because doesn't matter if I'm playing strikeout or demolition, me shaving off those 2 seconds on that res time is so vital, right? My teammate gets knocked, I barrel roll over there, I get my teammate back up before the ensuing enemy can even finish their push. You know what I'm saying? Now we're back up 2v1. Let's knock that dude, wipe him out. He didn't even realize I was getting the res, and I got it off that quick. Helping Hand is probably, I would say, the most important perk in terms of support. And I always go with it because, look, if I already have my Incendiary, I already have enough for aggression or enough for creating separation or just enough to win a 1v1, maybe even a 1v2 fight, right? So I'm going with Helping Hand, okay? Following Helping Hand, probably the next perk I would do. This kind of depends on what we're rocking. If you're flanking or if you're facing a team where you know you have to be very mobile and you have to flank, then I gotta grab Cloaked.
It's good.
Gotta grab Cloaked in that regard, because typically if you're facing a team like that, then they're probably gonna have a Dallas or a Talon, right? Both of those guys can be very annoying and they can reveal you. You know what I'm saying? They can reveal you with that, either that Talon dart or Dallas snapping those fingers. You know what I'm saying? So this kind of keeps you low key. I know Vi doesn't have padded steps, but if you bunny hop, you can still remain relatively silent. If you crouch walk too around corners, things of that nature, you can still stay relatively silent. Sneak up on somebody from the side and put them down with that Nightshade, which we're going to talk about that very soon. Okay. Following that, I will go ahead and grab Tenacity. Again, this is if you're playing a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more of a barrel stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can go ahead and bite a grenade or bite a ballistic knife and still have an opportunity to lay down some damage. You know what I'm saying? So I would probably grab the perks more so in that order. Replenish, I'm not too worried about unless I'm playing something along the lines of strikeout. If I'm playing strikeout, then I'll probably grab replenish maybe in round 2 if it's a sweaty game. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I have enough money. Grab replenish now. I have great multi-kill potential. Tracker rounds, this is something that I believe is tertiary, if that. Typically when you're playing a sweaty competitive game, right, or a sweaty competitive match, you're typically going to have an intel guy, right? You're going to have a Dallas or Talon. So I'm not too worried about tracker rounds in that regard. I'm more worried about getting my teammate back up and getting in the fight. I'm more worried about tanking a grenade. I'm more worried about staying low key on that flank. You know what I'm saying? Tracker rounds, putting a bullet on somebody and having them show up for 3 or 4 seconds. Not really too worried about that. So I will grab that later on. If you got extra cash to throw, then I mean, do that. You know what I'm saying? Do that. But again, we're not going to prioritize that. And evade, same thing, not really worried about evade to that degree. I mean, maybe if you're playing aggressive, maybe this saves your tail and gets you on that corner so you can either retreat back to your team or you can heal up a little bit. But I don't really bite on evade that much. Again, if I have extra cash to just throw away, I might grab it. So I think that's how the gadgets and perks should go. Prioritize that incendiary grenade first and foremost. Grab Helping Hand. Everything else can fall in line and you can still clap cheeks and get those W's. Now let's talk about Vi's weaponry a little bit, okay? Vi has the Nightshade assault rifle, and then she also has the S12 tactical. Vi, why are you talking over me? I'm talking. Thank you. Thank you, Vi. See, she's such a sweetheart. Anywho, the Nightshade, think of it as a hybrid AR SMG, okay? Has the highest fire rate of all ARs in the game, but does the least amount of damage per shot, okay? So it's literally a hybrid, for lack of a better term. So in close ranges, you are now outgunning an SMG, and in long ranges, you are not outgunning your typical standard AR like the KA-30 or something of that nature in this game. You know what I'm saying? So where this thing really thrives is catching people in that sweet spot. I would say that 15 to 25 meter range, you catching people lacking. Let's showcase some damage a little bit, okay? Now, I like showcasing with no upgrades because, again, upgrades just kind of make things better. So just so you guys can get an idea of the recoil pattern and the damage, things of that nature, let's go ahead, let's check it out here. So I take it over here. Let's just check out recoil pattern. I'm not controlling nothing. We got a nice little reverse S pattern, okay? So again, silence hybrid SMG AR to be expected. Now, this thing can 6-tap somebody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correction. This thing 5 taps at 10 meters, okay? Now, if we take it to 20 meters right here, 20 meters is a 6-tap, all crits, 7 to the body, I believe. 30. 30 is still a 6-tap, and at 40 meters, 40 meters is a 6-tap. So you can 6-tap if you get all crits as far as 40 meters. Now beyond that, I don't really know. Beyond that, if we're talking, okay, beyond that, we're still 6-tap into the noggin. The probability of that happening that far is probably really low unless you are catching somebody lacking or you're burst firing. Side note, quick little plug-in, if you have not watched my aim tips video, make sure you watch that. I'll link it down below. Plug out. Anywho, typically you're going to be fighting in this 10 to 20 range, right? This thing can absolutely body somebody, but again, if you start shooting at the same time as somebody shooting their SMG, if you and a Ronin start shooting at the same time, you and a Lancer, they're landing all crits, you're landing all crits, you're going to lose in that 10-meter range. You want to spread them out, take them out of that SMG range. Anything beyond 14 meters, SMGs start to develop damage fall off, right? So if I'm in that 15-meter range, I can still 6-tap. I am in control here, okay? For ARs, where this thing is going to beat your standardized AR is, again, in that little mid-range because your fire rate is higher than theirs, right? So if you can land those crits on them before they land theirs on you, you will win the gunfight. But again, those mid to long range fights, 25 meters plus, you're losing, okay? You're losing against ARs. Anything under 15 meters, you're probably going to lose against SMGs. Now, I will let you guys know, coming next week, Vi's Nightshade will be getting a buff, okay? Body shot damage increases to 17, and bloom spread actually is decreased. So you see this bloom spread right here? Not too bad, but it's going to be slightly tighter. I believe same thing with the hip fire as well. Oh crap, pulled out the freaking pistol. I believe it's going to be the same thing, hip fire and ADS. The bloom spread is going to be tighter. They call it like accuracy forgiveness or something. I don't know what they call it, but so Nightshade is only going to get better. I'm very interested to see how Nightshade performs in those close range fights against SMGs post buff, and in those long range fights versus their typical AR. I mean, it's definitely going to be able to stand on its 2 feet versus your traditional AR after that buff, for sure. Now let's check out this S12 Tactical. I cannot recall if this has a higher fire rate or if Lancer's Striker has a higher fire rate. Can't quite recall that. Anywho, this thing, even at 10 meters, can 2-tap to the noggin. A shotty can 2-tap at 10 meters, 20 meters. I butchered that. Hold on. Let's try this again. 20 meters. Okay. She was already dead. Oh, all right. Let's try this again. Take 3. 20 meters. 1, 2. Boom. This thing can 3-tap to the noggin. If you land all those pellets, you can put somebody 3-tap down at 20 meters, at 30 meters. Okay, you guys get it. You guys get it. So this shotgun, of course, is only going to be viable at 20 meters or less. So if I hit fire to the chest, if I hit fire somebody to the chest, it takes 4 taps, of course, to get rid of them. But typically, you're fighting people that are damaged. You might be able to clean somebody up if you catch them lacking with this thing from 20 meters, which is pretty good. Now let's take a peek at his body shot at 10 meters. You can 3-tap somebody to the body at 10 meters. So this shotgun is viable, no pun intended. 10 meters or less, I would say at the very worst, 20 meters, okay? You don't want to pick no 20-meter fight with no shotgun, dude. You're going to lose. Come on, be smart, unless you really catch them lacking. But 10 meters, you got a chance. This thing, again, only gets better once you upgrade it. Let's see what the upgrades are. You increase the mag, increase hip fire accuracy, and increase damage range, okay? Very curious to see this damage range. Let's take a peek real quick.
Very well.
Yes, very well, Vi. So 30 meters, increased damage range. I think that just tightens the spread. If you're looking at the shotgun now, yeah, if you look at that, the spread is a bit tightened. In terms of really increasing range, don't think it's really doing much. But again, you shouldn't be using the shotgun that far anyway, man. You shouldn't be. If you do, what's wrong with you? Ultimately, the Nightshade you're rocking with probably 95% of the time, especially when you're playing demolition and extraction. If you want to have a little fun and strikeout, you can play with the shotty. You can play with the S12 Tactical. Have a little fun. Get some montage clips with your friends. But there's no way anybody's using this shotgun in a competitive fashion. In fact, I don't really see people using shotguns in competitive fashions ever. Shouldn't start here. Grab the Nightshade, upgrade, especially once it gets that buff next week, and clap these cheeks. Not my cheeks, but yeah. Okay, folks, kind of building off what I mentioned earlier, and this is something I do not see enough, okay? When you play Vi, you have to take control of the game, okay? You have to literally be the quarterback of the game. Why? Because you have the ability to do so. If you have a Lancer on your team, the only thing your Lancer is good for is close range combat and flanks, okay? If you have... if you have a Phantom on your team, your Phantom is only good for mid to long range engagements. If somebody gets in her face, she has probably a 90% chance of losing unless that person has potato aim. You see what I'm getting at here? Vi can cover all bases. And I don't see people using Vi in that regard too often. In fact, I barely see it at all. When you're rocking Vi, you need to always be in motion. Always be moving around, okay? Now, I understand there's some times where you kind of have to just hold corners because you're pinned or something of that nature. You guys are playing a real sweaty match, but typically you should always be in motion with Vi. Always. Why? Because Vi is doing 5 different things at once. You're trying to gain intel. You're trying to watch out for the aggressive push. You might have to peel off and do a little short flank. You might have to push the opposing team. When you're Vi, you have the ability to do it all. Okay? So let's pretend somebody's behind this wall right here and nobody knows. So what I do is I go ahead, I grab her poison. I look up right here. I throw the poison. And once that poison bursts, I see two ticking. I now know it's somebody back there. Or if it's 2 people, I know 2 people are back there. What they're going to do is rotate out of that poison, and we're going to get shots on them as they're rotating out. Or they might drop back, like let's pretend there's no wall right here, and they drop back there to their teammates. So now we got recon info, okay? Which is so important. Let's pretend it's 2 people behind this wall right here. What I can do, because again, she rocks out with the poison and the incendiary. Let's pretend I don't have my poison charge. I can throw an incendiary right here. I can burn out those 2 people. Let's say I got 40 damage on them both, right? And I jump around this corner. I can kill both of those people and clutch the round. I've done it before. Maybe not so cool like that, but I've done it before where I've burned somebody using that incendiary grenade. I've poisoned somebody to death. I've ticked away 20 of their health, and I've gained 20 of their health, of course. And I've been able to win that gunfight because I'm up 40 from the get-go before a bullet was even shot. You know, like, you just have to be versatile with Vi, and you always have to be flipping switches in your mind. To be completely honest, the more I think about it, Vi does not have one specific role, and that's just kind of how Vi flies, right? There might be a moment where you gotta flank, might be a moment where you gotta push, might be a moment where you gotta support, might be a moment where you gotta gather intel. And you gotta be willing to do that on the fly, okay? And guess what rhymes with fly? Vi. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm done with the corny stuff, but yo, ultimately, when you pick Vi with confidence, please. Pick her with confidence, because no, you're going to be needed to do a multitude of things. So you got to have that confidence in yourself, that confidence in your shot, and your ability to gather information, and your ability to hold down an area, hold down a point. And that's something that I did not really mention. So let's tap on that real quick, right? If I'm covering this point right here and there's a team pushing me, it's very easy to drop her poison. And either a Psycho is going to push through that poison, lose 10 to 15 health. I'm going to gather information because I'm going to now see them coming around. Pretend there's a wall here. I'm going to see them coming around that wall because they ran into my poison. And I'm going to be able to clap them dudes, right? Or clap that dude. That's one knock. Another dude comes around here because remember, I set 2 poisons. Clap that dude right there. You see what I'm saying? Like, yo, ultimately, just keep moving. Keep moving, shooting, dropping poison, throwing incendiary grenades, and you will have a great time, and you will be able to get the most out of Vi. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed this pro guide video. Let me know again down in the comments below. Do you rock with Vi? Do you not rock with Vi? If not, let me know why, because again, she's the dopest thing since shoestrings, and now everybody trying to get laced. Yeah, that's enough corniness for one video. Your boy Cray signing out. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace and love. We are out.